I'm Kusum Kanwar, and I've been a former principal, Billabong High, Santa Cruz, and Billabong High, Millard. So I'm into education for the last 25, 30 years, in fact, close to 3 decades. I run my own two preschools. And so in these, you can say, number of years of my association with schools, with parents, with children, I've come across a lot of challenges that they face, even in schools where I've headed, and just about empowering youth, and actually where our schools are faltering, is not something which I will blame the schools, or I would like say that the schools are at fault, but the system itself is like that. There are children who come to me and they say that, ma'am, we want to do a lot in these 35, 40 minutes of what you give us, in classes, but it's not just possible. So something that really perturbs me is about, recently a close friend, she remarked how she finally made up her mind about dropping out her 13-year-old child from an international school and homeschool him. So she consulted a large number of prominent homeschooling parents group, and has now decided to take the plunge. So, and this is not the first case. So I've seen or I've come across about 3 to 4 of them. They don't blame or they don't pinpoint this to the schools, but they say that the system as such as that the child has. Is unable to get that kind of attention, and is unable to actually go with the teaching methodologies that the schools adopt. So it's like I won't even say that it's mass teaching, but it's just that there are some children who need that one-on-one, who need a different learning style, who need to be taught in a different way. And in schools, we don't have that kind of time. So I'm hoping that organizations or academies like Bringle Academy would bridge this gap, because something like an individual education plan or individualized student plan that is made for students will take them a long way. And according to me, and based on research as well, so the more connections or the synaptic connections that are made, with children, where they are in a happier place, where they can learn better, is when the learning happens. The better learning happens, you can say. And the learning is for longer time. So it's all about neurons that wire together. And so children need those happy places. Children need that individual attention. So in a classroom with, even if it is 25, 30 kids, it is a little difficult for one teacher to focus on. So I'm hoping that these kind of academies will take the precedent and do something for children who need that kind of guidance.
Okay. Yeah, so that's definitely there. Sushil sir, do you have any thoughts on this which you want to share with Kusum on this experiential learning about your project? You'll have to unmute yourself, sir.
Hello, Kusum. I heard a lot about you, and nice hearing you. I absolutely resonate with what she's saying, and I got so much of substance. See, after all, with all the experience of education she has, but a lot of educators are not applying their knowledge to the real world problems. And the challenges today which people are having cannot be solved with yesterday's knowledge and yesterday's solutions. So today, I think all of us need to look at how do we adapt. So when I do teachers training in schools, I do a little exercise where I ask all teachers, what do you think of today's child? And every teacher has to say one word of what do you think today's child is. Describe a child in one word. So somebody says tech savvy, somebody says super smart, somebody says inquisitive and all that. And then I ask them, were you this child? And they say no. I said, then why are you teaching the children the same way? What differences have you made in your teaching to address the new client, the new challenge? So what she's saying is right. We have to now see the number of children in a class, how learning happens, she said. No, I think many teachers, many parents have no idea about how learning happens. And then it is not to pump in learning. Knowledge is not a criteria anymore. It is application of knowledge.
Absolutely.
We all have knowledge, but are we applying it? That's the question. And if you listen to a guy, I tell you, I keep talking about Sugata Mitra because he's my idol as far as education is concerned. You know, he says education is not about knowledge. Education is not about what we know and we are imparting. Education is about what we all don't know. So exploring the unknown is education. And our education system today was primarily coined by Britain, who sitting in one small island wanted to control the whole world from India to Australia. So they wanted absolutely uniformity. They wanted absolute, what a person writes. So handwriting was very important. What a person writes in Australia should be read in India and vice versa. And they only wanted people to listen to what the boss says and you do it. That's it. So our education system has been there, but luckily I've just attended a debate on whether Indian education system is a delight or a disaster. There are a lot of new things happening. Things are changing for the good. The only thing is that the pace at which they are happening is not good enough, and the numbers they are happening is not good enough. It may be happening in some IB schools and some places, but the masses. So I think I really appreciate your views, and I think you're absolutely on the right lines.
Thank you so much, sir, for this. And Kusum, do you also want to introduce about the after-school program which we are doing in collaboration with you? Do you want to say a message to the parents here, which we can actually circulate it around there?
So the after school, which should actually happen in school, and that's why schools and teachers and people like us are in this industry. So I mean, it's just that it's an opportunity for, say, people like us who will then explore it in our academies or in these after school programs. So what I feel is, even if there are international schools and there are even schools like IB, and if you've just read a few days back, I think a couple of days back, when there was an article about the IB schools and how tuition classes are, just springing all around just to address or to teach IB students. Weren't IB or wasn't IB curriculum actually brought in, or why parents have endorsed it and parents have, or children have taken admission in IB programs, is because because of the methodology, because the way it is being taught. But it's sad that something like this is happening. So it's imperative that institutions or academies like ours, where there will be a complete mentorship. A teacher will understand, will know the where the child is actually at what level, how much of help the child requires, and also the emotional quotient of the child needs to be measured. Because if you see, or if you also have researched that emotional quotient in children is something very important and is connected directly to learning. So if we also have our own examples that if we are asked to recall our best learning moments, or the best teacher in our schools in our days as well, are the ones who have taught us where we have had a lot of fun while learning. So there is a direct connection between emotions and learning, and that's how we need to bring about that kind of a change in the academies that we would like to run as after schools as well.
Okay, thank you so
Anshul,
much.
anything more?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Kusum, for joining in at this late hour, late afternoon, I would say.